French President Emmanuel Macron has been meeting senior government ministers here at the Elysee Palace. It follows a meeting earlier this morning with his Conseil de Défense, the second time that the Defence Council has met in as many days. That will give you some indication as to the seriousness of the situation currently here in France. We had last night over 33,000 cases of COVID-19 reported by health authorities, and over 500 people have died in that 24-hour period. Now, the French government, it's ruling nothing out in terms of what kind of restrictions to introduce. The President will make a televised address later this evening. That's due to start at about 8 o'clock. In terms of what's likely to happen, we won't know until the President speaks to the French nation. But as I said, they're not ruling out a potentially introducing a lockdown. If that happens, it possibly won't be as severe as the one introduced earlier this year. Possibly schools would stay open and some public services. Other options open to the government. They may decide to extend the curfew that's currently in place for 46 million French people. They also could decide to introduce a weekend curfew, or they could go for an option which would see a more targeted approach, perhaps introducing a lockdown in some areas that are worst affected and that have been worst affected by the virus, such as Paris, Marseille, and Lyon. We had earlier today calls from the group that represents hospitals urging the President to introduce a national lockdown. They're worried that hospitals will be overwhelmed in the coming weeks, in the coming months. So whatever the President does decide to do, and we presume that decision has been made when he met with government ministers earlier on today, he's going to have to get political consensus for it. So a big decision for the President. We'll know more when he makes that televised address later on this evening. That's due to happen at 8 o'clock.